know, unsure, don't remember, or whatever. If it's not Monday and it's not Wednesday, then it
Must be Tuesday.
there you have it. Down in sports, we are in the building. Myself, left-handed at RM Desk on Twitter, which is this right now, and my Cody in the building, always in the house, repping the Sixers for once. My for once, might I add, right? Browski's in the house. Y'all the Bears in the building. Let's give it up down in sports. We are in the building. A lot of things going on, but first and foremost, before we get into any of this, what we get into, I think the situation is going on in Jamaica with this category. What is it? Five, Browski
Yeah.
storm, and it definitely is affecting the down in sports because Yada Bear has people in there. I have people out there, and it's crazy. So I mean, if you want to speak to anything and what's going on, and just put it out there. It's on you, Browski. You got it. You know what I mean?
It's just wild because it been hurricanes happening before that had hit my people over there, but this one supposed to be like one of the worst ones. Category 5. The eye is going right over like Montego Bay and the Grill area. That's where my people from, Montego Bay. So it's a little nerve wracking, especially when there's no real communication right now going over on the island, and you know that you can't play with nature. Water is crazy. Water can change your whole world at the blink of the eye. So these storms are real wild when you're on the island. It's different when you're over here in the States. A hurricane is bad everywhere, but especially bad on the island where there's no escape, you know? So we're definitely, want to give our hearts and prayers and salute to everybody over there. Everybody stay safe. That's about it. Anything you want to add,
Yeah,
Matt?
yeah. I mean, when you talk about you know nature and things of that nature, certain situations in certain places hit way harder than others, and I think the island Jamaica has seen things like this happen before. I think it was Hurricane Gilbert, if I'm not mistaken,
Oh, that
back
was
in
a
the
big
day.
one.
So again, it's gonna be hard. Like I said, definitely sending blessings and prayers up. You know what I mean, and whatever we could do, man, because it's a situation. Water, like Kimmy said, water you don't play with. I don't play with water. I get it in, do my due diligence, and get out. Real talk. Um, yeah, I was in the Navy and all of that, but that's a different story. I still don't know how I passed the swim test. I still don't know, Browski. But yeah, it's real, and you don't know how real it is until it hits home, and definitely, a lot of people are affected. A lot of communities are affected. You know what I mean? And we just want to pay some attention to it and shed some light on it because a lot of times these things happen, they get talked about, then they move on to in other news. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I think this is something definitely has to be paid attention to, and help has to be given some kind of way. I don't know how, but it's not like an earthquake or something like that because you deal with that after effects of that. But this is happening as we speak. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. But we got Browski in the building. We got lefties in the house. We doing what we do. Let's talk before we get into our thing. Let's get down on what we gonna get down on. Let's do what we here for. Um, week 8. I'm gonna set it off. Buck Nation in the building. Um, my team looked good. Division opponent, New Orleans Saints. What do we say, man? Basically, Kimmy, this is a game we were supposed to win. You know, um, looking at it from have the perspective of how I look at it. Bucky Irvin out, Mike Evans out. You know what I mean? Um, he showed up, but I'm not jumping out the window, Kim, and saying, "Yo, we gonna do this. We gonna do the third." Nah, that's the team we supposed to beat, and that's how we supposed to beat them by 20 points. You know, um, the mistakes notwithstanding, my man came up with the interception right there and walked into the end zone. That type of stuff happens to good teams. I'm not gonna say championship teams, happens to good teams, and that type of stuff happens to teams that are not good. So at the end of the day, week 8 victory for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We have a comfortable 2-game lead in the NFC South. But what's that going to look like come December, Browski? You know what I mean? So again, I don't put a lot of credence into it. Week 8, it is what it is. A lot of all the teams didn't play really. You know what I mean? I think 6 teams had buys. You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy. But yeah, Kim, it still was an exciting week. You talk about your Eagles and the return of SB 26.
Yes, it was very beautiful to get our revenge, so soon.
It's
To
very
get
beautiful.
to get payback off of that fluke win that the Giants had, a couple weeks back
Browski talking greasy. Pay
on
attention.
a Thursday night. Um, surprised, we finally had a complete game. We always start out good in the first half, and the second half be trash, or the first half be trash, and then the second half be good. It was, very nice to see us play consistent football through all 4 quarters. Um, Without AJ Brown, he's out with the hamstring injury. Devontae Smith, did his thing. Saquon, first run play, taking his 70 plus yards to the house for a touchdown. It was good to see the reemergence of Saquon Barkley, gaining positive yards, chunk plays, being more active in the offense. The offensive line look a lot better. Thank goodness this is, our bye week is coming and came, so that our guys can get healthy. Hopefully we can build off of this win, keeping the momentum going offensively. And what I'm looking for on the defensive side is I'm hoping Howie makes a move. He has to make some type of move before the trade deadline. We definitely need a corner, you know, or a pass rusher. But I'm really banking on us getting a corner because we'll be getting Nolan Smith back after the bye, so that should help with the pass rush. Um, we definitely need a corner. We can't keep going out there with Keely Ringo on the other side. It's killing us there. And luckily, we played the Giants, not really throwing too much shade to the Giants, but luckily that we played them and not, play somebody else who have, really good receivers. Thank goodness that Malik Neighbors is also injured, because this game could look a lot different with him on the field, you know, with our secondary not being top notch. Prayers go out to Cam Skidaboo. He his ankle got mangled out there. Um, you never want to see a guy get hurt like that. But that was wild. Hope he has a speedy recovery. We'll see him next year, and hopefully he can pick up where he left off at. But Jalen Hurts once again looked good. 4 touchdowns. You know, um, People keep saying that he can't throw the ball. Well, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, no turnovers. So he may not put up a lot of yards, but it's efficient and it's touchdowns and it's taking care of the football and keeping my team in the position to win the game. That's all that matters is the W. I don't care how we win, as long as we win. So now we go into this bye week 6-2. Like I said, looking to build on this, and getting ready for the second half of the season, which should be quite challenging. We come back off the bye, and I believe we play Green Bay off the bat, so we get to see how we stack up, against the quote unquote NFC elite. You know, we'll see. But it's all good over here. As long as we winning, I'm fine.
I
You
hear
know.
you. Put some respect on the New York Jets. I kind of said that the New York Jets was going to win against Cincinnati. I just kind of felt like this was a setup game, for the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Flacco, could do what he do, but I just think that with all the grief that Justin Fields are taking from the owner on down, from New York City, from sports radio and things of that nature, it was bound to be a week where somebody was going to have to feel the wrath. He was going to have to get his get back on somebody, and the way it happened, you know what I mean? And again, we talk about the tragedy with the passing of Nick Mangold, the Jets, center, you know what I mean? Rest in peace. You know, all of that mysticism, and 39-38, you know. The Bengals, they had their chances to win the game. The Jets pulled off some, three-car money trickery, you know what I mean? And got them a win. Salute to Aaron Glenn. Gets his, first win as a coach for the, HC of the NYJ. Um, you know,
I,
that was nice. That was nice to see.
I mean, yeah, it was nice for the Jets, but that has this, to me. It says more about the Cincinnati Bengals defense.
Well, we know they stink.
The defenses have been terrible. They had this whole controversy with Trey Henderson not wanting to
Mm-hmm.
sign him sitting out. Then he gave him a little deal,
Mm-hmm.
to sign him, and then he came back, and it's just bad. So like we've been saying this for a while that the Cincinnati Bengals as an organization is not a really good
Cheap.
organization.
Go
It's
ahead, Brosky. Cheap. They don't like to
extremely
spend
cheap.
money. Yeah, yeah, they spent money on Jamar
Oh,
Chase. They
yeah,
gave money
they
to
did
Joe
something on
Burrow.
the
Yeah,
offensive
you're damn
side,
right.
but
Yeah,
forget
you had
about
to
the
twist their
defense.
arm for them to give money to Trey Henderson after they
Yeah,
gave all that other money up. But what they gonna do? When they gonna improve the stadium? When they gonna improve the amenities for the families? We heard about you, Cincinnati Bengals. We heard about y'all. You know what I'm saying? So again, you're only gonna go as far as the players who represent you, man. And if the players
correct.
are happy from within, you know what I mean? You're gonna turn into a moribund franchise. You was on the cusp of doing some great things. You got the multi-million-dollar quarterback, you got the multi-million wide receiver, you had the dope running back, you had a situation in defense. Now all that is out the window. Now you gotta start over. And you let the New York Jets come in there and beat you at home. That's what you deserve.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
deserve it.
yeah, no, no, absolutely, and they pay this guy Joe Burrow all this money from continuing to get hurt season after season because what they don't build an offensive line.
Is he the
You know,
Joel Embiid of the NFL? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
you see how we just start throwing shots already. It's
I'm
because
saying. I mean, I just was like,
he's
is
throwing
Joe
too
Burrow
many
the
shots.
Joel Embiid of the NFL? He stay hurt. He plays for a franchise if he's there, and when he's there, they are super in there. They're great. They're a good team. But he goes down, the whole thing turns to Play-Doh.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I know, or
Same thing with Aaron Judge with the Yankees.
who
You know what I'm
knows,
saying, Browski? Yeah, I'm just saying, like,
who
but the
knows.
Cincinnati Bengals,
But I mean,
send all your emails to the out of there. Oh, you
it, it's
Cincinnati
it,
Bengals.
it, it, it's
Chuck
just
and all that. I see
crazy.
you, Chuck. You know what I mean?
It just nuts. What else was interesting? This this past Sunday. Oh, well, here's something that's interesting. Miles Garrett, 5 sacks in a blowout loss. So you get 5 sacks, but your defense still gave up 31 points and you lose the game. So
Right.
those five
Right.
sacks to me means nothing.
Nothing.
You know,
Right.
like you're just padding your stats. This is all of it. This all is an individual achievement on a terrible team. You know, again, one of the famous sayings: you can't have both. Can't get the money and the championship. You gotta choose. And he chose money because there's no way in hell that I would still be a Cleveland Brown right now in this point in my career when I see that this organization is not doing anything to improve itself. Countless times, year after year, we have seen the demise of the Cleveland Browns. But yet you continue on putting in Cleveland Brown jersey. You could have left last year. You had so many options. People was throwing money at you, but you decided, oh, I'm gonna stick with this team. And then you sit there at the end of the bench pouting at the end of the game because your team's still getting blown out, even though you had 5 sacks. What do you think was going to happen? You play for the Cleveland Browns that have they're starting a quarterback that shouldn't be a starting quarterback in the NFL. You got another quarterback on there that they says injured. He's not injured. They elevated Bailey Zappi from the practice squad. So it's like it's a it's a shit show in
It's
Cleveland.
a Glenn Quagmire.
Yeah, it's definitely a quagmire in Cleveland. So, um, congratulations on your meaningless 5 sack game. Because that's what it
Definitely,
was.
Browski. Definitely.
Yeah.
Salute. Salute. Yes, absolutely. And again, um, that reminds me of an old commercial. There's no I in team. We either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah. That was proven on
you know what I
Sunday.
mean?
That was
Wow,
definitely
son. Like
that
that's
was
how you
definitely
really feel.
proven
Tell
on
them how you really
Sunday.
feel. You know what I mean? But
Um,
yeah, um,
that yeah, that was wild, and also gotta salute the Packers. Aaron Rodgers went in there ready to get his revenge, and with those disgusting jerseys that they
oh
had on,
goodness, I was
I
talking to
just don't
Slate. Yeah,
understand
I was
those
talking to
jerseys.
Slate just before the kickoff. I was like, "Yo, man!" And salute to
What is
Slate, man. He's getting ready and having a baby girl. Salute to the homie Slate, and his wife Winter. Salute, and Storm. Salute, little Storm. Salute. Yeah. I was talking to him at kickoff, and I was like, "Yo, Slate, what is going on with these uniforms, man?" He's like, "Yo,
yeah.
yo, I don't know what kind of point they was trying to prove." You
Yeah,
know what I'm
I,
saying?
I had no clue what I'm not seeing it on the T. I'm like, what's up with these
What
uniforms?
is
Like,
this?
what are
But
they wearing?
yeah, like you said, Aaron Rodgers, doing what he do. You know what I mean? Green Bay doing what they do. Um, where are we at right now with a team like the Denver Broncos? Because if we go back about 8 weeks, I still feel like the Denver Broncos are going to the Super Bowl. Like regardless of what
Um,
the Indianapolis Colts are doing, regardless of whatever. But I wanted to talk to you about that. And people talk about the Baltimore Ravens are going to make the playoffs.
Now, I mean, I can say the playoff more likely than the Denver Broncos winning the Super Bowl.
Mm.
I mean, it's still early on. The Broncos are definitely on their um, NFC East killing,
Killing
tour
spree.
because
Yo, they killing
they
spree.
basically. Yeah, they
Dave
3-0
Browski.
right now. They three and
Right.
zero
Yo,
in the
the NFC
NFC.
East killing spree.
They killing
Claude
spree.
Banks.
They just waiting for the Commanders next. They calling them
Right.
like, yo, we on y'all. So I can't say anything super. bad about the Broncos, but I can say that still very early on. I still can't look past the Chiefs, what the Chiefs are doing. You know, getting Rasheed Rice back from his vacation,
Vacation, right,
and
right, right.
having Xavier Worthy back in the lineup, and Travis Kelsey still does his thing when needed, and Patrick Mahomes always out there. So I can't not still see the powerhouse in the Chiefs and be like, oh yeah, the Broncos is going to dethrone them. For the same way about the Colts, like the Colts is rolling right now,
Hmm.
but it's different when something's on the line. It's different when there's no tomorrow. You know, um, Daniel Jones have playoff experience. He's been in the playoff before in the wild card, but the rest of the team hasn't. You got a veteran coach who have Super Bowl experience also, but I mean, when you look at the rest of the team, none of these guys really, have any postseason experience. Like I said, they're rolling now, but things are different when there's no tomorrow. Right now they still got another week.
Right.
So I'll say we still, still got some time to wait and see what happened. But I'm definitely excited to see some fresh faces in the playoffs. Potentially in the AFC with the Colts and the Broncos doing their thing. Um, but it's still kind of early.
Yeah,
I expect what's happening in the NFC North right now. I expect what I see. Um, Baltimore and Pittsburgh going to be in the dogfight. Um, Lamar may be coming back next week. I thought he was gonna be back last week. After they bye, but I guess after Harbaugh took out the pool tables, the basketball hoops, and PlayStations out the locker room, they was able to refocus and get a victory over the Bears, which I thought the Bears would put up a little bit more of a fight than they did. It was kind of disappointing to see the effort that Chicago put out there, and it kind of reminded me that they're not ready yet. They're still the
once they
Bears.
realized the Ravens wasn't gonna roll over, then that's when they rolled over. They played them.
Yeah, it was like
Right.
it.
They thought they was
It,
gonna
it was
walk over
it was like
Baltimore.
once they saw that Derrick Henry was having a kind of a productive
Hmm.
game, and they couldn't really stop the run. It was like, oh
Right.
well, then we can't
Right.
stop anything.
Yep.
So that was, like I said, that was quite disappointing seeing that. But it's always a good week for me when the Eagles win and everybody else in the NFC loses. So that means we won 3 times over.
Let's get to the reason why we're here. We can get back to this later. What is going on with the X-ray poker tables, the injury reports that's supposed to be exclusive, the pass it out on the court so you can make your under? What the hell's going on?
Man, the NBA is definitely on notice right now. It's crazy. It's a super bad look. Um, Chauncey Billups, that's extremely disappointing. Like when you see names like Terry Rozier and Damon Jones, you're like, all right, I can kind of see it. I can kind of see them doing something shady. But you look at Chauncey Billups, you're like, man, NBA Hall of Famer, NBA champion, head coach of the Portland Trailblazers. And he's out here organizing high end poker games on X-ray tables, um, inviting his friends over to take L's unbeknownst to him. So
That's
that's
right. That's
that's
right, Dowski.
that's
That's
why
right.
everything that we've seen in the report, his action is the most egregious because it's like
That's
you're
right.
my man, And I'm
Browski
thinking I'm
crazy.
coming over to the crib for a fair, friendly, poker game. Maybe I win a little bit of money. Maybe I lose a little bit of money. But you telling me you sitting there and you got some X-ray glasses on and you got these cards marked
Right.
and you see what I got and I'm sitting here just looking like Boo Boo the Fool, raising,
Really, lunch
you
meat,
know, I'm
all of
sitting
them.
here,
Right,
I'm
right.
raising the pot and the house is winning at every hand. It's crazy. And then to see that you're aligned with these mafia guys, and when people were so surprised to hear the name of these mafia families out, and I said, like, well, just because they're not in the public making noise, these families don't go away. Like, this is something that been here forever, you know?
Browski, let me tell you something. I know you know, 'cause Philly's not.
Hmm.
Philly's, yeah, all right? So listen, all those people who, being naive, man, who you think collect your garbage?
Yeah.
Who you think is on them construction projects?
Hmm.
Huh? So don't miss me with the I didn't know they were still involved and this and that. The crime families of the Gambinos, to the Lucchese's, to the Bonanos, they ain't went nowhere.
Yeah.
Where you gonna go?
Yeah.
And again, we don't want to get into a whole litany of how far, reaching this thing could go, how far reaching Browski it has been with
Yeah.
the betting and the mafia and the cross pollination of all of that. But right now, the NBA is in a serious state of flux, right? Um, but how do put cast all the aspersions on the players when all they're surrounded by every 5 minutes is, bet Rivers, and this bet that, and bet the third. So again, it's their money. You can't tell them how to spend their money. You can't tell them what to do with their bread that they earn,
Hmm.
they pay taxes on, all that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, what are they doing that's so bad? They're in this man's house, even though he set the game up. He had them dead to rights, right? He was robbing them while serving them drinks, right? Let me cook. He was robbing them, and Chauncey Billups need to be ashamed of himself for all the accolades that Chauncey Billups has, and hopefully was trying to get more with his coaching gig in Portland, right? Giving him a chance, man. You know what I mean? To do something of his on his coaching resume. Who knows? But now we know, right? So again, and Damon Jones, man, this to me, this is auspicious. You go out as auspiciously as you came in. Yeah, you may have did some things with the Heat, whatever the case may be, or whatever. But this thing right here, knocks all that out the box, right? And for your name to be mentioned in, with the Fat Nicks and all of those guys and things of that nature, nah. It's all about you and Chauncey Billups. Now, Chauncey Billups, you took it to the nth level. You had some old Maxwell Smart get up in your crib, right? So whatever you catch, you deserve. You put your family at. Oh, I don't want to get into it because it's deep, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So if yeah, go
it's
ahead,
a
Kimmy, go
bad
ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, it's a bad situation, and like you said, the Damon Jones thing, is wild, giving out, injury reports and injury status, and then Terry Rozier, clearly shading the points and faking injuries and things like that.
That
It's
that's
wild,
that's crazy.
but it's really crazy now because we are all betting on these games. We all putting these parlays in these
That yep,
games,
yep.
and now it's look real bad for the NBA. Now it makes you second guess putting that parlay in because as we stated before, you're looking at these players like Like, all right, Kevin Durant, for example, played a double overtime game, but somehow he only had 22 points, But when you look at the line, it's like,
Right.
oh, 25 plus
Mhm.
points, is plus, 135. And you're like, all right, I'm going to put this bet in. You're like, oh, the game went to double overtime. I'm sure he scored over 25 points. And you see, he only scored 22
Mhm.
points. It's like, bro, like what's going on? And you put a bet
Mhm.
in for Luka to get a triple double, and then you see he dropped 40 some points, got about 10 rebounds, and like 9 assists. Like what's happening? Like so
Right.
you couldn't
Right.
get one more assist. So like things like that gonna have people looking at the game, look at these players sideways, like you're shading points. I mean, this is not the first time that the NBA got caught with their pants down. You
Mhm.
know, couple years ago, Tim Donahue situation where the refs, was placing bets and controlling the game, and us as fans, who's true basketball heads, we're watching these games. We're like, yo, why are they calling these, like these fouls? Why all of a sudden now they emphasizing on carrying the ball? You know, um, we have sat here and it makes us now double guess some of the biggest moments that we see in basketball. Like,
Mhm.
so the refs really didn't call that push off on Jordan and on Russell. Like that was a push off that they
That
should
was
have called.
definitely a push off.
So it's
Absolutely.
like, so that right there changed the outcome of that game and have Chicago, winning that championship again. You know, it makes you think about that what was that Heat Mavs series. Kind of make you replay some of those plays, and you like, well, that was a foul, or you know
Hmm.
what happened to did they shave some of the time off the clock? It just makes you rethink things, and it kind of take the joy out of sports. Sports is like a escape for people.
Yeah.
We got all
Yeah.
this stuff
Absolutely.
going on in the world, all this drama and just hard times, and you turn on a game and you can just escape for about
Escape
two
from all of
hours.
that. Right.
Yeah, and and it's about faith. It's like, oh my God, like you have your own superstition, your own ritual. Oh, if I wear my hat this way, Jordan might go off. My heel, if I wear this jersey, my man going to rush for like 150 yards. We're gonna have a good game. But when when you have people who are determining the outcome of the game before the game's even played, it makes you feel like it's all politics. Like this is an election again. You
Yeah.
know, as I have heard on our guy Star show, he always said that the president is selected, not elected.
Hmm.
And that's how I feel about watching sports now. It makes me side eye a lot of things. Makes me side eye a lot of championships and a lot of like different accomplishments that people have made. And it's like,
Hmm.
well, did they really, do this, or did they have help by, a ref or a
Yo,
player?
I'm about to strike a nerve right now. We
Oh
talked
boy.
about this earlier, and it's like a nice little segue. Who are some of your favorite sports cheaters in the in the world of sports? I came up with a couple of them right now. I'm a wild out because this is we need to have a little bit of levity going on with what's going on out here. The first one I could think of was Tanya Harding, right? Then I had to, I was like, oh no, it's deeper than that. It's deeper than the Bert Emanuel thing and Tim Donahue. Listen, I'm gonna take it back to 1988 when them judges jerked Roy Jones in the Olympics. I'm gonna take it back to the judges of all of Oscar De La Hoya fights. I'm gonna take it back to Eric Gregg, may he rest in peace, with his larger than large strike zone, right? I'm gonna take it back to Ohio State and Miami, where they call that pass interference in the corner, which wasn't pass interference. Like, listen. My favorite sports cheaters: Sammy Sosa with the court bats. Here's one for you, Browski, that you might enjoy: the Johan Santana no hitter. Like, I
Yeah,
listen, we can listen. I mean, it's such
yeah,
a thing now to cheat in sports. It takes
yeah,
away from what Kimmy was just talking about and said it's so dope that the fun that you have and the escape that you have. Now you're escaping into a landmine, or you're escaping into a scripted a theater. You're going to a theater play, right?
mm-hmm,
So like again, it's like these so so-called. We used to keep them like Sir Browski, the script writers in the NFL. Like that was like a thing.
yeah,
But is it a thing for real? You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? So for me,
yeah,
like you said, when you're betting and you know, with Kevin Durant, they always beat us in the head about he's the most prolific scorer and blah blah blah, whoop de woo. 25 points is nothing for him,
yeah.
right? And he went to overtime. What is this?
Double overtime. Yeah,
Double over.
it's
What the?
crazy.
That's even worse.
Yeah,
And he only commanded 22, and the number was 25. One more three
yeah,
point shot. One more
yeah,
drive to the lane and get the foul.
yeah.
And he couldn't do that.
It's crazy. Like, and when you think about like cheaters, you know, we can, we can point at the New England Patriots,
Right.
spiking, inflating the balls. That's
Yes.
easy stuff. But to me, I think the worst cheater in sports history has to be Lance Armstrong, because not only did he, use steroids and stuff like that, but he tugged on people's heartstrings with the whole cancer thing, and everybody's walking around with these Live Strong blade bracelets. You know, we all bought in on it. We all bought in on it. Everybody, even don't act like no. Listen,
Yes,
everybody
listen,
was everybody was secretly, if you wasn't publicly, you was secretly rooting for this guy. And like when you hear this story, you was like, oh man, that guy is dope. Look at all the stuff he's doing, and he's beating cancer. It's crazy. Just to find out that this man was using steroids the whole entire time. Like, to me, that's crazy. Like, that is one of the most aggressive person, in this whole cheating thing. But we're gonna see, when the other shoe drops. Um, if more names gonna come out, we're gonna get um, some more athletes coming forward. I know that his peers, that Chauncey Billups, hanging around. I know they definitely looking at this man sideways now. And if I was them, if I was one of the guys that he invited to a game and I lost all this money, I'll be
yeah.
looking at him sideways too.
Looking,
And
looking at him, looking at him, looking forward.
I'll be
Hold on,
looking at
where's
him
my money, son?
for some restitution. Where
Right,
my
right,
money
right.
at?
Little bit
Because
restitution. That's right.
yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day, you the one that was for trying to you finesse me,
Mm,
and you supposed to be my man. You supposed to be my homie, and you know my situation, and you still said, yeah, we're gonna get him. He good for it. It's crazy. So I'm just waiting to hear more things about this case, um, and see, when the other shoe drops, where is Chauncey Billups gonna land at? Is he gonna be behind bars, or he gonna be out in the street because he gave up some names? But most
well,
likely, he might be behind bars, because I don't think he's gonna give up most any names
listen.
with the people that he's associated with.
I think that when you do the 2020 hindsight thing, you could see and you could tell because these cats, Browski, they talk. If you got a $7 million poker table in your crib with X-ray stuff, and nobody gets that but the mafia. So if
Exactly.
the mafia is putting that in your crib, they're expecting something on they're expecting return on their investment, right? You inviting these high rollers, aka NBA stars, NBA players to these poker games, right? It's somewhere you gotta get your windfall back. The house is always at the advantage, but damn son, you know what I'm saying? So it was no way that you couldn't lose. You know what I mean? It's no way you could not lose because again, at the end of the day, you was making money for the mafia.
Yep.
That's all you was because they found a easy one. They found an easy mark, which was Chauncey Billups. Must have had him under some pressure.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure because like I was telling my friend the other day we were talking about it. I said it's no way that you just meet somebody that's connected by the mob. That doesn't just happen. Like I just walked down the street and I bumped into somebody. Oh, look at that. He's
Well, he's
connected to the
down with the
mob.
so and so family, right?
Yeah,
Right.
like that's something that just doesn't happen. I feel like he probably was at one of these games and he got behind, and they said, "Hey, this is a way that you could pay off your debt.
Yep. Yep. That sounds plausible.
Do,
Very plausible.
do this."
Absolutely.
And I think him working with them, he thought he's a part of Goodfellas, but I need him to remember no happy endings in any of these mob movies. There was no happy endings. Okay. None of them ended happy. Was no white picket fence. Was no kumbaya at the end.
Was it no
Basically,
happy endings? Was it no happy
basically,
endings? Or
nope.
was it no happy end words in any of the
Exactly,
mafia movies?
nope. So,
So, you know.
lesson
We in the
learned, Joe.
building down in sports, we kicking the Willie Bobo, the ballistics, the whole nine, you know what I mean? The 5 and 4 and all of that. We in the building. And why you gotta pull punches, man? You've been getting punches pulled on you for 40, 50 years now. I'm quite sure there's, every little game and things have been scrutinized because again, we talk about it on the show. We talk about it, outside. We talk about it amongst our peers. We're sitting at home with our family, at the game, at the bar, whatever, and we see what's going on. But yet and still, the dudes that's 10 feet away, 5 feet away, with all the big screens in Manhattan, they can't. We can see it. Why y'all can't see it? And
Now,
then
one,
the other part, Browski, is when they do, oh, we're sorry, we made a mistake. That was I said this on the show maybe about 3 months ago, my G. Like that was happening way too frequently. We know what we're looking at, Kim. How you
I
gonna
mean,
tell me?
the
And then
two
it's like,
minute
oh, we made a
report.
mistake.
The,
What
the
the?
the 2 minute report is the worst report ever. Like, don't even give me that because it doesn't change the result of the game. You can't tell me that, oh yeah, we did miss this call. Oh yeah, that was a foul. Oh yeah,
Right,
that did happen. But
right,
yes, we seen it in real time. We know it
right.
happened.
And
You
that's the
told me the
explanation
next
you
day.
give.
Like
Right,
it
right.
doesn't fix anything. But
Mhm.
you know, we, all thing we could do is just wait and see how Adam Silver reacts to this because he has been called to testify. I believe in front of Congress. I think they got a little committee together and they want to talk to him about what's going on in the NBA. And
He
you
gonna
know the
pretend.
FBI,
He gonna pretend he don't know English.
and you know the FBI is going to go real hard, on this scandal because they need to win. They've been
Yep.
taking L's left and
He
right.
gonna pretend he don't know
So,
English.
so he going to have some explaining to do. So hopefully
Oh
he got his
man, that's
statement
gonna be
together.
hilarious. He
Yeah,
gonna be
but
like,
all we can do is wait and see what happens. You know.
oh man, Adam Silver gonna pretend he don't know like Sammy Sosa. Yo, anyway, man, we in the building doing what we do. I don't know if you got a chance to check out any of the World Series, but so far this thing is turning into a little something.
Oh my God, crazy! It's like an old school series. I mean, 18 innings.
Yeah,
What are we talking
uh,
about?
that's a little much. Yeah,
18 innings, and then they
yeah.
turn around and they are playing right now. It's
That's old
wild.
school.
Um,
Absolutely. That's how they used to
it
do it.
definitely
Yep.
gave me a super old school vibe. Um, Yesterday, early on, you know, the Blue Jays, had a nice lead, and you thinking like, oh, all right, Blue Jays may take game 3, Um, next we know, here come Dodgers surge back, and then they tied it up, and then we had extra innings, and you bringing out Kershaw coming out for an inning, and then you bring in a guy that wasn't even on the playoff roster that had a little, was having some location issues and things like that. They put him on the World Series roster. He gave him 4 straight innings. He was getting busy, and Freddie Freeman, came out and closed it out. It was wild. Just to see a walk off home run in the 18th inning. Shohei got on base what, like 9 times, which was wild. Shohei is definitely having himself a series. He's definitely showing
They
that
scared of him.
he is one of the best players in baseball. He's on the mound tonight, and he's haven't given up anything so far. So we'll see. Dodgers maybe repeating because they're the
I mean,
Dodgers.
they turned it up at the right time. I mean, we were talking about before the season started. A lot of people say, "Yeah, the Dodgers go win 120 games. The Dodgers got this guy. The Dodgers got that guy." These people just kept going to the Dodgers, the Yamamotos of the world, and all these other guys kept going to the Dodgers. Then they started getting hurt. Otani had to deal with the interpreter,
Hmm.
that gambling situation, right? The Dodgers wasn't winning games at a record pace. Mookie Betts was having an off year. You know what I'm saying? The pitching wasn't really right. The relief pitching was going crazy. So again, what did we say, Browski? July, August, September, the Dodgers started getting chugging along a little bit here. You know what I mean? Mookie Betts
Yeah,
started getting on base. They started doing their thing. Freddie Freeman's doing his thing. The pitchers starting to come together. Now all of a sudden in September, the Dodgers and the Padres who pretend that they give the Dodgers smoke, but they don't really give the Dodgers no smoke. They
no,
don't give the Dodgers no smoke. They got all of them. But anyway, we ain't gonna talk about them. It's all about the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, right? So the Dodgers doing their thing,
hmm
ran through the Brewers who was supposed to give them some problems, right? Baskin, you mentioned it a couple weeks ago, like the Brewers was beating the brakes off the Dodgers in the regular season.
they was.
But when the games count, the Brewers couldn't get a break against the Los Angeles Dodgers. You know what I mean? So here
Listen,
we are in the World Series with the Blue Jays on the other side who ran through the Yankees, right? They ran through the Yankees like it was like flypaper, neighbor. You know what I'm saying? And then the Blue Jays did their thing in the ALCS against, doing their number. Now they're in the World Series and they for real. For real, for real, for real. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And I want to say something. The Seattle Mariners, once again, the homie. He used to come on the show and the Mariners was doing good and this and that and the third. Salute to you, man. Another, you are still the only team in Major League Baseball has never been to the World Series. Still.
yeah, that's wild. That's that's so crazy when you think about it.
Never,
You think about
ever been to the World
all
Series.
the teams, all the rosters they put together, and they still haven't made
All
it there.
the A-Rods and the see now I'm gonna talk about junk because see I'm a Yankee fan from way back, right? And like I remember when Ken Griffey slid across when Edgar Martinez got the hit off of David Cone. David Cone threw 129 pitches, right? Edgar Martinez got the hit to left. Griffey scored from second, slid in
Hmm.
the home face first. They was all happy, this and that and the third. We didn't hit the end of that. But guess what? We got 27 World Series champions.
Oh, there you go.
Y'all ain't even, you never even
There you
printed a World Series ticket. You don't want no problem with me. I respect the Seattle Mariners to the fullest. Y'all got squads, pitching, defense, hitting, but oh well, that's neither here nor there. Um, it's gonna be a good World Series, Bowski. It's turning into something that's pretty
no, no,
decent, you know.
it's definitely going. It's definitely a good one. The one thing I'll say about the Dodgers, and I said it a couple of shows ago. I said it at the beginning of the postseason. the the best way to beat the Dodgers, you got to beat them early. The Phillies missed the opportunity because that's when they at their weakest is at the beginning of the postseason, and after each game they just get better and better and better. And now look at them in the World Series up 2-1. Right now it's the end of the second inning. They up. I mean, it's the beginning of the third inning. They up 1-0 right now. It's crazy. They beat you with home runs. They beat you by just getting on base. It's like these guys are relentless, and I'm thinking at the end of the day, they might be holding up their trophy again. But can't you know still early. Gotta see, but I think the Dodgers may be holding that trophy.
I mean, this, the Blue Jays went from worst to first. You give
They
them,
real
you give them
fast.
their props. You know what I mean? Again, I think, you asked me. This is just me now. I think that, and I've been saying this ever since, later in the season. The Blue Jays play the Yankees like every game is Game 7 of the World Series. They
Yeah.
play, they go hard body karate when they play the Yankees, right? They beat the Mariners. They played the Mariners game, a long ball. They hit the home runs too as well, but they had their pitching. The kid is Savage. He came through for them, right? Um, right now, the Blue Jays are playing their um, their mortal match in the Dodgers. And again, the Dodgers are not going to go and sweep them. We already know that already. So now the Blue
Mhm.
Jays just have to, really just play, their brand of baseball. They have to beat the Dodgers at their own game. The power is not going to, really, really, really even match up with what the Dodgers have. I mean, you got Springer, you got Bo
But
Bichette, you got
Springer's not
Vladimir
even. But
Guerrero.
Springer's not even playing tonight.
Huh?
Springer hurt. He's not playing
Yeah,
tonight.
Springer's hurt. So then there's another thing. You got the Alejandro Kirks of the world. You know what I mean? You got the guys that really haven't that they contribute off the bench, the guys you haven't heard from. You know what I mean? That are making contributions and stuff like that. So again, this World Series may go deeper than 4 or 5 games,
Yeah.
games. But again, I just wanted to mention something when you talk about the sports thing. Yesterday, right? I think yeah, it was yesterday because it was a football game. All four major sports at one time on the same day:
Yeah.
football, baseball, basketball, and hockey, all on the same day. We did a show. Had to be a year ago. Had to be. We always ahead of the curve, right? We talked about that. How everything overlaps. Where you used to be able
Yeah.
to differentiate baseball season from football season, right?
Mhm.
By the time football season got really into a flow, baseball season would be over. Baseball season will be over in October. Baseball season will be
Yes.
over. Then from baseball season, you would pick up basketball season, the hockey
Mhm.
season. Now everything is the same.
That's right.
Everything laps over. You don't, and for us, it's like our heads explode. We can't
Mhm.
talk college football, right?
College
That you know what I mean?
basketball.
Yeah. So again, it's crazy, but it's all in the name of having something to talk about, I guess. Um, this is the part of the show right here, Browski's favorite part of the show, where we get to do what we do, and what we do is called get down on it. And Browski, what are we getting down on this week?
I'm getting down on the NBA already handing the left. We can see you. I see you. I'm
That's
getting down. I'm getting down on like I said,
go
NBA.
ahead.
Handing already handing out awards. Before the season start. Everybody's giving Cooper Flag. Rookie of the year already.
Right.
You know. It's just 3 games in. But it's crazy because we got this young guy in Philadelphia named VJ Edgecombe, you know, and this kid is extremely talented. He's been putting up big numbers, coming up in big spots. Not to take anything away from Cooper Flag, but I just want to say, hey guys, chill out. We always want to crown somebody the king or the next big thing before they are even anything. Before they even start doing anything at all. Um, but the kid VJ is good. He doesn't play like a rookie. He plays hard. He know how to get his own shot. Um, oh, Vlad just hit a home run
Yeah,
off of
I was gonna say I was waiting for you to finish
yeah,
off
Vlad just hit
Otani.
a what, two run over Otani. It's a
Hmm.
seventh home run in the postseason. That's a crazy number right there.
Hat
Seven.
all crooked.
Had, yeah. Look how he laboring to get across. Oh,
Him,
yeah,
he's styling and profiling. Yeah,
yeah,
he's styling and
yeah.
profiling. Yeah, he's
That was
laboring.
a
He's
great.
taking his
That was a
time.
high fastball too. He
Hmm.
crushed that. So there we go. Toronto up 2-1. But yeah, that's all I want to say about that. And also I want to get down on how fast the LA Clippers situation has now been swept underneath the rug. Nobody is
You
talking
think?
about what's going on with Kawhi and you know these millions that he received without doing work. Um, this right here is a gift to the Clippers now. This whole cheating and betting scandal has now cleared the path, clear the air for the Clippers because nobody's talking about that anymore. That's old news now.
Right.
So I
Right.
think the Clippers should
Take the lucky
definitely
stars.
celebrate this as a victory,
Right.
and keep quiet, and just keep their
They can,
head down.
hey, they can quietly tiptoe out the room.
Exactly. They can just go ahead and back up and
Hmm.
just disappear into the strokes because nobody's is paying attention. But I always pay attention, so I see what's happening. And kudos to you, Clippers. I'm not a player here. Kudos to you because you may be
He said,
getting
I'm not a player
away.
hater.
You may be getting away with something. You know, they gonna have to push you guys to the far background because the NBA gotta clean their house. Their
Hmm.
house is dirty right now. So definitely I want to get down on that. And I think that's about it. Oh,
Come on,
and
let's go.
one more I want to get down on
Hmm.
the Lincoln Financial Field. It looked really bad
Mm.
on Sunday, and I think that kind of also played a part of Scatterboo's injury. I feel like we have to probably look elsewhere for these colleges to play games in other stadiums because the field looked a mess. And I believe there was a college game that played there this weekend. And I feel like during the football season, they shouldn't be playing there. They maybe they need to find a new venue to hold these games because when I looked on Sunday, I said this field look crazy. The field looked
Mm.
like MetLife Stadium, you
Mm.
know,
Hmm.
because Cam got a MetLife Stadium injury in Philly, and I feel we
Mm.
generally have pretty decent, field
And that's
conditions.
natural grass, and that's grass, huh?
But that thing, it looked beat up, and I was like, this field, and we didn't even have like a lot of rain tonight. It just looked like it was just a lot of
Right.
wear and tear.
Hmm.
So let's get down on these local colleges playing somewhere else, not at the link. We gotta find somewhere else for these guys to play.
That's
But
right.
what you getting down on left?
I'm getting down on Mike Tyson and this Floyd Mayweather fiasco. I'm about to cook for a hot second.
Wait a minute, I forgot all about that.
Yeah. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Mike Tyson has turned into our generation's Joe Louis. From boxing extraordinaire, knockout artist, everybody knows this and that. Now he's, doing what he does, right? Still, being relevant, but more or less to a certain degree, kind of like we just treat him as a sideshow. I'm gonna keep it green with you. I think that Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson should kind of like just not even deal. The circus act. Boxing has turned into a circus act, right? And now they have these matchups that are supposed to mean something. What do they mean? What does it mean to have Mayweather and Mike Tyson fight? What does it mean?
Nothing. Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't get it. These clowns who pass themselves off as boxing enthusiasts and boxing promoters and boxers, right? You want the tens and $30 million to do what? You don't do nothing. Then a fighter who really fights it, and when I'm talking about Terrence Crawford, he gets discredited because he didn't fight this guy, he didn't fight that guy. All the guys that he fought, he beat. Oh yeah, you can say the same thing about Floyd Mayweather. All the guys Floyd Mayweather fought, he beat. But here's the difference, cuzzo. All the guys Terrence Crawford beat, he beat the F up. How many of those dudes did Floyd Mayweather beat the F up? How many? Come on. Let's get it. Let's get it. Right? So for me, when you turn into a sideshow from a respected authority, almost Mount Rushmore type figure, and you turn your career into a clown show, fighting these exhibitions, you're bigger than that, yo. Your legacy is way your legacy has a sip of sugar honey iced tea. Takes a sip of sugar honey iced tea all over that. Your legacy. When you decide to get into the ring with Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Paul Rubens, Luke Paul, all the Pauls, Peter Paul, right? Paul O'Neill, all the Pauls you could think of. Paul Pressey, right? Paul Pierce, all the Pauls you want to think of. Your legacy is staying now. The bag, come on, yo. And then you got these new jacks following in your footsteps because they don't get what they want. They want to cry like petulant children. That's a word I haven't used in a long time. Petulant children. Yeah. Tank. Yeah. Absolutely. Your career is going the way of Mike Tyson's. And then y'all want to try to make it look like Terrence Crawford really did nothing. Terrence Crawford been blasted on cats since HBO and Yorkers Gamboa. I'm gonna repeat that. Terrence Crawford been blasting on fools since HBO and Yorkers Gamboa. Ask 50 Cent about Yorkers Gamboa and see what he said.
He ain't gonna say nothing.
He ain't gonna say nothing, right? I bet you 50 didn't see the end of that fight. Listen, listen.
He exit left.
Listen. I'm just gonna say it like this, man. Leave Terrence Crawford alone. He's making the most of his legacy. He's doing what he has to do. The object of the game is to fight and come out victorious. That's the object of the game. Of course, you're supposed to not get hit while you're doing all the hitting. I get all of that too. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, that man fought and he deserves his flowers, man. But you guys, the Mike Tysons of the world, the Floyd Mayweathers of the world, you fighting these clowns. Nah, these clowns are making money off of your name. Let that sink in for a minute. But you don't care because you got all the money in the world already, right, Floyd? Right? Right? You got all the bread in the world, right? You don't care. It's just 40 more million dollars to go in the bag. But your legacy, people looking at you sideways. Well, I know I am. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing about Floyd Mayweather. And you almost really can't tell me nothing about Mike Tyson. Because this really, really, really does a disrespect to the science of boxing. Only a few people are supposed to be able to really compete at a high championship level and have their legacy reflect that, right? The Ken Nortons of the world, the Foremans, rest in peace. Those guys have never got to worry about their legacy. Never. And people was beating their brains in. Am I right or wrong, Browski?
Nah, you speaking facts, but we this is what the people want. It started with the McGregor and the Floyd. Now, Jake Paul's fighting everybody. You got celebrity boxing. Now we got Tyson coming out fighting. So this is this is what people want. People want clickbait. They want viral stuff. It's weird, but honestly, I forgot all about this fight. I
See?
did. I
There you
forgot
go.
all about it.
There you
And
go.
do I want to watch it? Not really. Will I
But are
watch
you
it?
going to watch it? That's the question.
Of
All
course, I'm
right,
gonna
there you
watch
go.
it.
There you go.
Yeah.
That
Do I
job is
want
done.
to? No, but of course I'm gonna watch it because why not? These are two of the best. One
When?
extremely past his
When
prime.
was this?
Level. No,
When was
one.
this, Browski?
No, I'm just saying one extremely past his prime and one that's past his prime got nothing to do,
Get me crazy.
and now
Right,
they
right.
just want to go on the ring and have a sparring match, because it's not gonna be real boxing. It's gonna be some sparring and a little entertainment, little.
One gonna be blowing bubbles, and the other one gonna be throwing feathers. That's
Yeah,
this all.
it's gonna be a little
That's it.
oohs and ahs and things like that. But this is the world now. You
But
got
I was gonna say
X-rated
something, not to cut your
professionals and you
wisdom.
got
I would say
old
something.
people
It's
boxing.
been it's been going on since the beginning of time. I remember when Ali fought the karate kung fu guy, right? Then I remember when George Foreman fought five dudes at one time. Like I mean, I get it, I get it. So again, you can't, me, I can't front and say like, oh, I never seen this before in my life. No, because I have seen something like this before in my life. But I'm just saying, your legacy, man, is like really all you got at this point. Like,
They don't
it
care about
just
that anymore.
right. There you go. You
They don't
said it.
care about
Said
that.
it. Said it. There you go. Set up over there.
They don't care about
But
legacy.
you're absolutely right.
The only thing they care about is
Absolutely
the
right.
right now. They don't care about that stuff no more.
Right, right, and that's the part.
Forgotten.
That's the part. Absolutely, out of bear. Absolutely. Yo, I want to get down on one more thing. I want to get down on the Miami Hurricanes. My Miami Hurricanes. I told you. I told you. I told you. Carson Wreck is reminding me of Carson Wentz. You throw the interceptions followed you from Georgia, B. Uh, Am I right, Browski? Or am I just talking? The interceptions followed you from Georgia, B.
He made sure he packed those.
Now we kind of dead in the water as far as a buy, right? It's a wrap. It's over, right? So now we just have to make sure that we finish in the top 12. That's it. Um, I'm not down on the fact that we lost because we said it, Browski, at the top of the season. No team was going to finish undefeated. There was not going to be any undefeated teams in the national championship when we get down to the final four, right? And here we are, Miami Hurricanes. Everybody was talking about them. What was I saying, Browski? I said, nah, not just yet. Give it a couple more weeks and let us get by these couple of games that we have and let us, get, a little bit past October into November and see where we at.
Facts. Yeah.
And you had to have the game. You was behind I watched the Louisville game. They was behind the whole game. Was coming back doing what they do, and Bet threw an interception at the worst time. But now that's over and done with. And I had to argue my man down because he's talking about, well, it was good for them to lose. I said, what you think this is? College basketball? This is not college basketball.
It's never
It's
good
good
to
for you
lose
to
in college
lose.
football.
Like, but anyway, that's what we're getting down on. We're about to get up out of here, down to In Sports. Another week down, another Tuesday down. Send your love, your support, your prayers, some help, right, to the people of Jamaica. Bosky, you want to say anything before we get up out of here in regards to that?
Yeah, definitely send all positive energy, positive vibes, to the people over there in Jamaica, and hopefully this storm pick up some speed and hurry up over the island, so that they can get some relief. So definitely pray up, bless up.
Bless up each and every time. And you know how we give it up, you know how we do it. Get your picks in. Um, week 10 coming up. Picks and locks. Get your picks in. Make it do what it do. All right. You know what it is down in sports. We're gonna be in the building. Browski's here, Lefty's here, and I hope you be here too. We're about to get up out of here. Be peace wherever
Yep.
you go. And stay out the weather because it's gonna be crazy for the next couple of days. Y'all be good. All right,
Yeah, it
we out.
is. Yeah. Peace.
Peace. We out. 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 We out.